Hello everyone, very good evening. Yeah, so very good evening everyone. So let's start with the fifth lecture of this database management series in which we are discussing the query languages. So in the last four lectures, I have already covered all the topics of relational algebra. And from today onwards, I'm going to start one of the most important topic of database management system from gate point of view, that is a structured query language. So almost every year a question is asked from this particular topic. We are going to have a crisp discussion in the upcoming lectures about the structured query language. You will be able to solve each and every question, right? So but you have to focus. If you are not sincere, if you are not asking questions, then it may be difficult to understand the concept. So please uh, participate in the discussion so that you will be able to understand the topic with more depth. Okay, so in the last class we have solved some practice questions of relational algebra, and today I'm going to define that what are the different SQL commands are there, how do we use aggregate function, and what output will be produced by a specific aggregate function, what are the SQL clauses, and what is the order of execution in which those SQL clauses will execute. If you do not understand that in what order the clauses will execute, then it will be very difficult for you to understand that what exactly will be produced by the query. So I'll just keep it simple. So please try to understand. Don't worry about this. It's just a definition. So what is this? SQL. Sir, SQL is a non-procedural query language. Please try to understand. If I say it is a non-procedural query language, means there are some predefined syntax and those syntax will be used to produce the required result. You do not know that how exactly those syntax will work inside the query system, but you just need to understand that what is a valid syntax and what is an invalid syntax. So there are some syntaxes which are valid and there are certain things which are invalid, which you are going to understand in the today's session. So SQL is a non-procedural query language. So that's a simple question. We use predefined syntax to retrieve the desired information. So let me explain categorically. First of all, that a structured query language query may produce duplicate tuples. So SQL query may produce duplicate tuples if distinct keyword is not used. So there is a keyword distinct. If at all you want to produce the distinct tuples in the output, you will have to use the keyword distinct. If distinct keyword is not used, done. So I want to cover most of the things in this, most of the basic things related to structured query language in this particular session. Therefore, I have come up with pre-written slides. Very good evening, Ashwini Kumar Bansal ji. Thank you. Chaliye, let's begin. That what are the different commands in SQL? So basically, we classify the commands in 5 categories. There are some commands which falls under data definition language. There are some commands which fall under the category data manipulation language. There are some commands which fall under the category data control language. Some commands falls under the category transaction control language, and some of the commands will fall under the category data query language. So from the gate point of view, the most important command is a select command, which falls under the category data query language, which is used to query the database, So, so these three commands, create, alter, drop, and also the truncate, falls under the category data definition language. These are the data manipulation language. Using these commands, you can actually manipulate the data in the database. Good evening. Very good evening. Very good evening, Nishu. So, insert, these are the data manipulation languages. DML. And this is the data query language. I'm not going to discuss the commands which are related to data control language and transaction control language, because they have never been asked in the GATE exam. Okay, so let us first understand this different types of commands, then we will move to the next topic, that is aggregate function. So what is done by the create table? Create table is used to create a table, create a database table. So the moment you will define what's a create table command, then the name of the table, create command table, the name of the table, then you will define the attributes which are required in that particular table. Let's assume if you want to create a table with name student, and then you will define that what are the attributes you want in that particular table. So you want one attribute as SID, you want another attribute as name, and you want another attribute as marks, right? So you will define that what are the attributes are required along with the data type of that particular attribute. So varchar, that means it can take the variable values as well as character value, variable as well as character value. So it is S1, S2. So S1, so it is neither character nor integer. So if you want to define the combination of character and or alphabet and integers, then it will be a varchar data type, right? So varchar data type, and marks may be of integer type. So there's no problem with that. So if you use this particular command, that is create table student with this, then one table will be created which will have the name of the, the only difference is that again I missed to rectify that mistake. So this table name will be exactly same as the table name specified in the command, that is capital S and remaining student. So it will eventually be a student. So we'll have SID, SNAME and marks. Now, this table is created. Once you give this create command with the specific table name, with the specific attribute name along with the data type, then ultimately our table will be created with those attributes. There will be no data. There will be no data in that particular table. The structure of the database table will be created, right? Now what? Now you may at the later point of time, you may consider to add an extra attribute in this particular table. You might want to add an attribute branch in this particular structure of the student table. So if you want to add some extra attributes, then you will use the command alter. You will use the command alter command. So alter table will be used to modify the structure of the table. Let's assume that as of now you have three attributes, SID, SNAME and marks, but if you require a new attribute branch in this particular database table, then you will alter the structure of the table by using the alter table command. So you will alter the table student, you will alter the table student, and you will add a new attribute. Add is for insertion. If you want to delete, then you will define the name of that particular attribute, delete this particular attribute, right? So if you want to add a new attribute, then you will also have to define the data type of that particular attribute. So let's assume if you say that alter table student, add an extra attribute branch of particular type varchar 25, then as a result of this, a new attribute will be added into the relation into the database table. Make sense? So that's it. Now, if you use the command drop table, so if you want to completely want to delete the structure, then you will use the drop command. If you use the drop command, then the complete structure student will be deleted from the database. But if you want to keep the structure of the database table intact, and if you only want to delete all the tuples from that particular table, then you may use the command truncate. So there are two different things. One is drop table. If you drop the table along with the name of the table, then the complete data along with the structure of the table will be deleted. If you say truncate table and the name of the table, then all the tuples from that particular table will be deleted, but the structure of the table will remain. Clear? Come on. So that's it. So if you say truncate table, if you use the command truncate table, then what will happen? So delete complete data from the table without deleting the structure of the table. That means the structure of the table will remain. But if you use the drop table command, then it will use the complete table along with the structure. Deletes complete table along with its structure. Have you understood the basic difference? Truncate will keep the structure as it is but delete all the tuples of that particular table. Drop will delete all the tuples along with the structure of that particular table. Clear? Clear? Drop is also a data definition language. DDL command. Drop is also a DDL command. Now, let's try to understand about data manipulation language or the commands which falls under the category data manipulation language. So here, we will eventually insert or delete some of the tuples. So if you say, if you want to insert some tuple into the existing table student, then you will say insert where? Into where? The table name. Insert into the table name. So you want to insert where? Into the student table. What do you want to insert? You will define the values of the tuple which you want to insert into the table. So you will say values such that the first attribute will take the value S1, second attribute will take the value A, third attribute will take the value 35, and fourth attribute will take the value CS. So SID will be S1, name will be A, marks will be 35, branch will be CS. So these values will be inserted. So if you pass this command, one tuple will be inserted into your student table. Yes, values. So one tuple will be inserted into your table. Now, insert is easy. Insert whatever you want to insert. But if you want to delete some tuples, then delete will eventually go along with the where clause, because you may want to delete the tuples based on a specific condition. You may want to delete the tuples based on a specific condition, and we don't know the concept of where clause yet. Therefore, I'll only say that delete will be used to delete the data from the database table. Not all data, not delete specific data. If you say truncate, then it will delete complete data. If you say truncate, it will delete complete data. But if you say delete something, or if you specify the tuple which you want to delete from the table, then that specific tuple will be deleted. Then a specific tuple will be deleted. Clear? So this is the delete command. If you want to update something, then it is also possible. Let's say that as of now, the marks of the students are 35. Now the teacher has decided that he wants to give 5 extra marks to each and every student based on some extracurricular activity. Then he or she may eventually add any particular value in the marks of all the students. How exactly it will be done? You can use the command update. So you will say update what? Update the table student. Update what? Sir, update the table student, and set what exactly you want to update into this particular table, that you will have to define along with set operation. So update the table student and set. Update the table student and set marks as marks plus 5. So what will happen? Sir, in all the tuples, marks will be increased by 5. So currently here are 35 marks. Here we have 35 marks. So if you want to add this particular, if you want to add 5 into all the marks, then you will simply say marks equals to marks plus 5. As a result of this query, what will happen? As a result of this query, 5 will be added into the existing marks of each tuple. 5 will be added into existing marks of each tuple, and the resultant value will become the new value in that particular tuple. Okay, sir. So we have understood all the data definition languages. We have understood the commands of data manipulation language and the command that falls under the category of, let me explain there itself. The command that falls under the category of data query language is select command. Why do we use this select command? It is used to extract the data from the database table. And mainly we will discuss about this command, therefore I have not explained the definition explicitly, but select will be used in almost every query. Select will be used in almost every query. हाँ बिल्कुल पढ़ सकते हैं अश्विनी जी, बिल्कुल पढ़ सकते हैं. SQL, tuple relational calculus, relational algebra are also in the syllabus of DA paper, right? So it's not only for CSE, it's also for DA students, because in the database management system is a part of DA syllabus, and query languages are also part of that particular syllabus. Obviously, transactions and concurrency control you don't have to study. That is not in the syllabus. Select command is a data query language. Yeah, correct. So let's proceed further with the remaining things. So we are done with all the different types of commands along with the select command that will be used to extract the data from the database table, and in the upcoming slides we'll be discussing a lot about select command, therefore forget about that for time being. Now the another most important thing that is available in a structured query language but not available in relational algebra is aggregate functions. So aggregate functions are something which makes structured query language more powerful compared to basic relational algebra. So because of this aggregate function, the power of structured query language will be more than the power of basic relational algebra. Clear? So what are the aggregate functions? So there are basically 5 different aggregate functions. The variation will be because of the notation in which they are represented, but anyway, so there are 5 different types of aggregate function. First one will be count, second one will be sum, third one will be average, fourth one will be minimum, fifth one will be maximum. We will see the example of each and every one of this. We will see the example of each and every one of this. Consider this is your relational table student. Consider this is your table student. So I have inserted some more tuples into the table. So this is your final table. You may insert null in all the tuples if there is no primary key. The moment you define a primary key, null will not be allowed. Or if you define some attributes as a non-null attributes, then the null value will not be allowed corresponding to those attributes. But if you do not specify anything of that particular type, then all the values of a tuple may be null. And this is known as empty tuple. All the values of a tuple may be null, and this is called empty tuple. Now, please try to understand. So, the first thing that I would like to discuss is the count. So, you may use small letters, that's also fine. So, let's assume if I want to select everything, from this particular table, if I want to count the total number of tuples, then I'll say what? Sir, come on, select. Then, if I say count asterisk, asterisk means everything. Count everything or every number of tuples, count asterisk from the student. What will be the output of this particular query? What output will be produced? what output will be produced? It will return the number of rows in the table student, right? But what will be the result? The result will be 5 or 6. Result will be 5 or 6. Yeah, I know. That's where you are wrong. Please try to understand the output of this query will be 6. Output of this query will be 6. What will happen, sir? Count asterisk will not look for the individual values. It will only check that how many rows are there in the table student. It will only check that how many rows are there in the table student. Some of the rows may be empty rows. Some of the rows may be empty rows. But if you define this tuple which has all the values as null value, then it will also be counted while you use the operation count asterisk. Come on. Let's go back and write an important note. What is it? Sir, null is an important thing. So if we talk about null, so null is a non-zero value and the value of null is not known. Come on. So the first thing is null is a non-zero unknown value. It's not zero. And that's why when we want to compare with null, we use the operator is. No equality can be used. So null is a non-zero unknown value. That's first thing. Second thing is null value is discarded by aggregate functions. Come on, sir. There's an exception. Null values are discarded by aggregate function except for count asterisk. Except for count asterisk. The third important thing related to null operation is if you perform any aggregate operation, if you perform any arithmetic operation with null, it will return null. So arithmetic operation with null results null. What does it mean? If you add, let's assume some value 100 into null, will it become 100? No, sir. It will remain null. No, sir. It will remain null. So these are some important things. So if we talk about count asterisk, then count asterisk will not eliminate the null or empty tuples from the relation. But if you simply say that select and if you specify the attribute, so what marks? If I say count marks from the student, then, sir, what will be the output of the first query? Sir, the output of the first query will be total number of tuples in the student. This will be total number of tuples in student. When we talk about this, the value of this will be what? So, the value of this will be 5. This time the answer will be 5 because count marks will discard the null value. So this will be 5. Count the number of non-null marks. This will count the number of non-null, those marks whose values are not there. So if you specify some attribute along with count, then it will not count the tuple with null value. It will not count the tuple with null value. But as a whole, in the overall number of tuples, empty tuples will also be counted. Clear an issue? Come on. Sir, we may also want to count the distinct values. Again, so if I define the query as select count of distinct marks, you want to count distinct marks from table student. So what will be the output? Sir, in this case, the output will be the number of distinct non-null marks. Sir, one is 40, 20, 60, 60 is repeated, 40 is repeated, and null will be discarded. So how many distinct marks are there? Sir, only 3 distinct marks are there. Only 3 distinct marks are there. So what will be the output of this query? So the output of this query will be number of distinct non-null marks. Clear? So I hope count is clear to everybody. So that's what you can do with the count. You can count total number of tuples. You can count the number of tuples corresponding to a specific attribute. It will count the non-null values. You may count the distinct values corresponding to an attribute. So we are done with the count. Let's move with the next one. That is sum. That is sum. Right? So if I say select, obviously, sum of marks from a student, then what will be the output? Select sum of marks from student. So you will return the summation of all non-null marks. So you will count all non-null marks 40, 60, 120 and 60. This will be 220, 120, 100. Yes, 220. It will count what? Summation, return summation of non-null marks. Null will be discarded. Null will be discarded, obviously. Okay. You may also count the distinct values of marks. So if you say select sum of distinct marks from a student. So what will be the output? So in this case, the distinct marks are what? 40, 20, 60. 120 will be the answer. The answer will be 120. What will be calculated by this? So it will count what? So it will return the summation of distinct non-null marks. Return the summation of distinct non-null marks. Clear? So just once you define the summation, you can also define the concept of average. You can define the concept of average. It will count, it will compute the average value for a particular column, right? So if I say that asterisk select, this is just select what? Average of marks from a student. So let me tell you that how exactly these two things will be calculated. If I say average of marks, so how do we calculate average of something? So we calculate the average of something as summation divided by count. So it will be nothing but summation of marks, then count of marks, right? So if you are calculating average of marks, then it will be calculated like summation of marks is 220 and the count of marks are 5, right? So it will be what? This will be 44. Summation of marks divided by count of marks. Correct. Now I can also define the average of distinct marks. So if I say select average of a distinct marks from a student, then the value will be what, sir? The summation of distinct marks are 100 and it will be divided by 3. 100 divided by 3. So if I define the average of distinct marks, it will be calculated on what basis? So it will be sum of distinct marks divided by count of distinct marks. Make sense? So these are two different values possible with respect to average. Not 120? Is it 120? 604? Yeah, it's 120. I calculated this as 100. So 60, 40, 100 and 120. So this will be 120 by 3. Come out as 40. Thank you. Okay, so we are done with 3 aggregate operation. Next one is easy. Max and min are easy. Obviously, they will return the maximum or minimum value. So max will be what? Select max of marks from the student. So the maximum value of marks will be returned, and what is the maximum value here? So 60. Maximum among non-null marks will be 60. Now please try to understand. If you calculate the maximum of all the marks, or if you calculate the maximum of distinct marks, it will be the same. So there is no point of defining the distinct marks. I hope you understand that if you calculate the maximum of all the marks, or you calculate the maximum of distinct marks, there will be no difference. Similarly, maximum, right? Maximum. Similarly for minimum, if I define minimum, if I define the operation minimum, then you will define select min of marks from student. So the minimum value will be returned as an output, whether you define the minimum of all the marks or you define the minimum of distinct marks, the result will be same. Result will be same. Clear? So we are done with the different types of aggregate function also. But what is left to see is that how exactly this aggregate functions will be used along with other clauses of SQL. What happens with aggregate function is used in the select clause along with group by clause. What happens if aggregate function is used in the having condition? Can we use aggregate function in the where clause? So these are certain things which we need to see. Getting the idea? So we are done with the different types of aggregate function. Let me define the different types of clauses, and then we'll move to the different types of, then we'll see different types of queries, right? So from clause will be your what? Why will be used for what purpose? Sir, from clause will be used to select the database tables on which you want to perform the operation. Clear? So the from clause in SQL is used to select the database tables on which you want to perform the operation. We'll see with the examples. May not be we may not see all the things in the today's session itself, but in 4 lectures, I'll cover each and everything, whether be it independent subquery, be it correlated query, everything will be discussed. Sir, is this clauses in? Yeah, they are in a sequence. They are in a sequence. You are trying to ask that, sir, do we have any sequence for the execution of this clause? Yes. So first of all, we will have where clause, then you will define group by clause, then you will specify having condition, then you will go into the select, and finally it will be order by. Obviously, first thing will be from clause, but I have a slide with respect to order of execution. Don't worry about that. I have a slide with respect to order of execution, that what is the order. So first of all, we'll take the tuples from the from clause, then we'll apply the where condition on that particular table. Based on the output of where condition, the groups will be created. On those groups, we will check whether the condition is a true or false. So having condition will be applied on each group. Having condition will be applied on each group. Now, if having condition is also true, then we will select those specific groups or tuples, and after selecting, finally we will arrange them in an order. Finally, we will arrange them in an order. This is the order in which you need to think while tracing the given SQL query. That first of all you will take from. So take those tuples, then apply the where condition. Then see that what will be left after applying the where condition. Then try to apply the where, then try to apply the group by clause. Create the groups based on the attribute specified with the group by clause. Clear? So that's what we'll do. But yeah, you seem in little hurry, but I know that what is important from the SQL point of view, so you don't need to worry. I'll not skip anything. I'll not skip anything. Whatever is needed to understand the structured query language will be covered in this series. So from clause is okay. That will take that what are the different tables on which we want to perform the operation. Now, just like select clause of relational algebra, we have where clause in SQL. So just like select condition or select operation, just like select operation of relational algebra, we have where condition or where clause in SQL. What happens? Sir, where clause will do what? Where clause will select the tuples based on the condition specified with where clause. So how does where work? Sir, we generally write, so if we talk about from, then how do we define from? How do we define from? So we may say, sir, from, then R1, R2, etc. Whatever relation are there. Yes, relational algebra has been completed in the last 4 series. If you want, you can go and watch those recorded videos. Right? Come on. So from will look like this, that from all these relations, we want to retrieve the output. Where will look like where, and along with that, we'll define the condition. Along with that, we'll define the condition. So the where clause in SQL is used to retrieve the data or the tuple, I would rather say retrieve the tuple from the database table based on condition specified with the where clause. So whatever condition you specify with the where clause, based on that the selection will be performed. Now once you have selected the tuples, you will perform the group by clause. So if you apply the group by clause without where condition, what will happen? Sir, generally we are taking the tuples from the relation. On those tuples from the relation, we are applying the where condition. On the selected tuples, we are using the group by clause. That is, we are trying to group the output of where clause. If there is no where clause, then the complete relation will be the output of where clause. Then complete relation will be treated as output of where clause. That means in the absence of where clause, group by clause will be applied on complete table. Then whole table will group. Yes. Clear? So these are some important things, because it's not so that group by clause can be applied only on the output of where clause. If there is no where clause, then the complete table will be treated as output of where clause. Clear? So group by clause is used to group the result of where clause. In general, group by clause is used to group the result of where clause. what's the important thing? If where clause is not present, if where clause is not present, then group by will be applied on complete table. I hope you understand. Now, once you have created the group, you will check that which particular group should be selected and which particular group should not be selected. So, for that purpose, you will use the having clause. For that purpose, you will use the having clause. What will happen? Having clause can be used with or without group by clause. Yeah, so that's an important thing. It's not necessary that having clause will always be present along with the group by clause. You may also use having condition or having clause without group by clause, but in that specific case, having condition will be applied on each tuple and having condition will work as where clause. If there is no group by clause, then having condition will be exactly same as where clause. Clear? So having clause can be used with or without group by clause. What happens if having condition is used with group by clause? It is used to specify a search condition for a group. It is used to specify a search condition for a group in the database table if group by clause is present. So we'll search whether this group should be selected or not if group by clause is present. What if there is no group by clause? So please note down. If having condition is used without group by clause, a having clause is used without group by clause, then it will be same as where condition. It will be same as where condition. That is, it will be applied on each tuple. Where condition. That is, it will be applied on each tuple rather than on each group. If there is no group, then it will be applied on each tuple. Clear? And finally, the order by clause. If you want the order, if you want the output sorted based on a specific attribute, then you can use, order by clause. It is not that important. I don't think that there is any question that has used order by clause till date in the GATE exam. But anyway, so these are the different types of clauses and we'll see the examples of each one of them. So come on. From clause is used to select the tables from the database. So if you simply say select clause aega, select is a command. I would rather say Nishu, select is a command. I have specified different clauses. They are not in the order in which they will execute. Please. Otherwise, after having, you will have a select clause, then order by clause. Otherwise, after having, you will have select command, then order by clause. But I am just trying to explain the different clauses. I am not defining the order in which they will execute. Order is defined separately. I have already shown you this slide. Don't worry about that. How? Come on, let's look at this. So, if I simply say select command will be used, that we know. Asterisk, this for everything. Just want to give an example of from. Select asterisk from. We have already used this, but that's fine. Right? So what will be the output? So the output of this will be, it will produce complete results. Complete student table. Results, complete student table. You may want to specify the attributes which you want in the output. So you may say select. Let's say if I give you a name, from student, then what will be the output? Sir, in a SQL query, if we do not use distinct keyword, then duplicate tuples will be present. So A will appear 2 times, B, A, C, C. That will be the output. Is it okay? This will be the output. If you use a distinct, as simple as that. Okay, so we are done with the from. There is nothing to specify. Used to retrieve the data from the database table based on condition specified with where clause. You can specify any condition. So I may say that retrieve the SIDs of the students whose marks are greater than 10, are more than, or I would rather say are between. I'll also explain the operation between, where the marks are between 10 and 40. The marks are between 10 and 40. So what will you do? So for this, retrieve the SIDs. So you don't have to use the distinct keyword because all the SIDs are distinct. So you can say select. You need SID. Then you will specify from which relation? From student relation. From student relation. Where there are two ways. Either you can say marks are greater than or equals to 10 and marks are less than or equals to 40. There is one way of writing this query, or you can use the between command. You can say where marks between 10 and 40. Clear? So between, sir, if you use the between command, both the values are included. Between will include both 10 and 40. Is it clear? So either you can say max has to be greater than or equals to 10 and less than or equals to 40, or you can say max between 10 and 40. You have learned one more extra operation of a structured query language. Between operation can be used. So what will be the output if I say so? So the values which are between 10 and 40 are S1, S2, S5. Come on. So we know where condition. That we can select the tuples. What will happen, sir? Based on this condition, this tuple will be selected, this tuple will be selected, and this tuple will be selected. So these three tuples will be selected. From the selected tuples, SID will be produced as an output. Okay, let's move to the next thing, that is group by clause. So this is important. So group by clause is used to group the result of where clause. Group by clause is used to group the result of where clause, and generally we will use it to group the result of where clause, but in this query I'll not be using the where clause. Please look at this query and try to provide me the answer. Retrieve names of all branches. You need the names of all branches along with maximum marks in that branch. Along with maximum marks in that branch. So one query that you need to understand is, come on, look at this. This is very important for students who do not know the concept of SQL. This is very important. What, sir? If I simply say select, so what do you want to select? You want to select the name of branch, that is select branch. Along with that, you need along with maximum marks. So max of marks from the student. Will it work? That's my question. Will it work? Select branch. This is the specific thing. So will it work? No, sir. Invalid query. There's a rule. Sir, you cannot select any attribute in the select clause. You cannot select any attribute in the select clause along with aggregate function if that attribute is not present in the group by clause, right? So if at all you want to do this, then you will have to create the groups based on the branch. You will have to create the groups based on branch, otherwise it cannot be done. So that's an important rule. What, sir? We cannot select any attribute in select clause along with aggregate function. We cannot select any attribute in the select clause along with aggregate function until this that or those attributes are present in group by clause. Until those attributes are present in group by clause. If at all you want to do it, then the query has to be written in this particular manner. So what? So you will write select branch. I'll explain the other thing as well. Branch, and then you are performing max of marks. From the student group by branch. Group by branch. Now what will happen? Sir, this time, please try to understand the order. You will take the student table. So that's from student. From student, you will take the table. Do we have any where clause? No, sir. No where clause. But group by clause is present. So grouping will be done on the complete student table. So one group will be of CS, another group will be of IT, and one group will be of EC. So three groups will be created. One of CS, another group will be of IT, and one group will be of EC. So based on this, group by clause group will be created. Sir, there is no having condition. There is no having condition. There is no having condition. So basically all the groups will be selected. Basically all the groups will be selected because we are not selecting a specific group based on certain condition. So all the groups will be selected. Now all the groups are selected, but finally after having, you will go to select. So now you will go to select, and in select you will produce branch and max of marks. So that's the idea. If group by clause is present, if group by clause is present and aggregate function is used, then aggregate function will be applied on each group. Then whenever aggregate function is used along with group by clause, then aggregate function will be applied on each group. That's the next note. If aggregate function is used along with group by, If aggregate function is used along with group by clause, then aggregate function is applied on each group. Then aggregate function will be applied on each group. So what happened? Sir, from student, taken 3 student, no where condition, group based on the branch, no having condition, therefore all the groups are selected. Therefore, for all the groups, the condition is true. So first group is, let's say, CS. First group is, let's say, CS. So for CS, maximum marks will be created. So for CS, maximum marks will be 60. Second group will be IT. Sir, for IT, maximum marks will be 40. For IT, maximum of marks will be 40. Third group will be EC. Sir, maximum will be created only for this because null will be discarded. Null will be discarded. So this is the output of this query. Clear? All the things together. Sir, if where clause is not present, then grouping will be performed on the complete table. Yes. If at all where clause is present, then grouping will be performed on the output of the where clause. Grouping will be performed on the output of the where clause. Okay. Now, after group by clause, if you don't have any having condition, then for each group, the having condition will be considered true. If after group by clause there is no having condition, then for each group the having condition will be considered true, and based on that final selection will happen. Clear? Come on. Okay. Now, sir, can we use having condition on the group? Yes, sir, we can do so. So this is the example of having. Sir, having condition will be applied on each group if group by clause is present. If it is not present, then it will regenerate into where clause. There is no big discussion about that. So having condition is applied on each group if group by clause is present. Provided. Let me write if group by clause is present. Clear? So let's see. If somebody asks me, retrieve the branch name with average marks more than or equals to 40. So you are looking for the branches whose average marks are more than 40. So you actually want to calculate the average of marks for each branch. You actually want to compute the average of marks for each branch. So if you want to compute average of marks for each branch, then you will have to apply that condition into the, you will have to specify that condition along with the having clause. So what will happen? Sir, we'll select, forget about, sir, retrieve the branch name. So select branch from group by branch having what? Sir, average of marks. Now my question is, this time this average of marks will be calculated for the complete table or for each group? Sir, this average of marks will be calculated for each group. Make sense? So we have the group by clause, therefore aggregate function will be calculated for each group. Now let's again see. Sir, you will take the student table. There is no where clause. Therefore, all the tuples will be selected. Then you will create the group. Sir, one group will be CS. Another group will be IT. Another group will be EC. But this time we have the having clause along with group by. So not all the groups will be selected. Not all the groups will be selected. Only the groups for which this having condition is true, they will be selected. Only the groups for which having condition is true will be selected. So first of all, the first group is CS. What are the average marks of CS? So the average marks of CS are 40 plus 60, 100 by 250, which are more than this. Therefore, for CS group, the condition is true. For CS group, having condition is true. Therefore, select clause will select the CS group. Therefore, select clause will select the CS group. Then we'll move to the second group. So second group is IT. IT is 20 plus 40, 60 divided by 2. That is 30. 30 is not greater than equals to 40. Therefore, for IT group, having condition is false. For IT group, having condition is false. For IT group, having condition is false. Therefore, IT group will not be present in the output. IT group will not be present in the output. This time, whether the group will be present in the output or not, it will depend on the having condition, right? For EC, the average will be 60, which is greater than 40. Therefore, EC will also be present in the output. Clear? So, CS and BC will be present in the output. Got the idea? If you understand the order in which operations will be executed, then there is nothing better than that. If you understand the clause, and if you understand the order in which the clauses will be executed, then you know SQL. There is nothing else to be learned. So this is just a single class on SQL, and I think if you are sincere enough, then I have discussed most of the concepts of SQL in a single lecture. There are some other things, that what will be the order of execution for nested queries like independent and correlated, how exactly with clause and as with clause works. So these are 2-3 extra concepts that we will discuss in the upcoming classes along with the questions. But these are the basic concepts associated with a structured query language. There is nothing more than that. There is nothing more than that. Right. So what did I say? Sir, where condition is applied on each tuple, whereas having condition is applied on each group. Yes. Now we can use having condition without group by clause as well. But if we do so, then having condition will degenerate into group by clause. We can use having condition without group by clause. We can use having condition without group by clause. But in that case, having condition will be applied on each tuple because there are no groups. So where exactly having condition should be applied? On each tuple. That is, without group by clause, having condition will behave as where clause. Without group by clause, having condition will behave as where clause. That's it, sir. Order by, I'm not going to discuss this. Order. So basically you will select, let's assume the selection is of this tuple. So finally if you say ascending order, so first 20 will be projected, then 40, then 40, then 60, then 60. So if you say ascending order in this particular manner, the result will be available. If you say descending order, then the order in which the result will be available is this. So basically, whatever the output of select clause, if you want to showcase that output in an ascending or descending order specific to an attribute, then you can use order by clause. So by default, order will be ascending order. If you simply use order by, then based on that attribute, the results will be represented in the ascending order. If you want in the descending order, then along with order by, you will use the keyword descending. We'll see with the example, but not now. That's okay, right? So order of execution, first take the table, then perform the operation of where clause. On the output of where clause, perform the group. On the output of group by clause, perform the having condition. Based on the output of having condition, will define whether the group will be selected or not. Based on that, based on the selected tuples, in what order you want to project the output will be defined by order by clause. So I have explained all the basic clauses and aggregate functions in this particular series, in this particular session. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about nested queries. So I'll explain the concept of independent subquery, I'll explain the concept of correlated subquery and how exactly a correlated subquery execute. That is the most important thing. 50% of the questions that has been asked in the GATE exam are related with the concept of correlated subquery. If you do not know the order of execution with respect to correlated subquery, then 50% questions are gone. Come on. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining the session. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll meet tomorrow at the same time, that is at 6 p.m. and we'll discuss about independent and correlated subquery.